dysfunctional vet. What I'm doing is I'm cutting this okra up into bite-sized pieces, which I'll be dehydrating. All of this in the clean outdoor nature where I live. Notice I've got pine needle accents, rotted wood, little PVC pipe for ambiance. What I'll do is I'll get all this cut down. The stuff right here will end up being recycled into the garden, but I'll get all this cut and I'll get this into the dehydrator. I'll set it for 10 hours, and once it's dehydrated I'll verify that it is dry, and then I'll wrap it in Mylar, throw an oxygen absorber, and I'll show you that process as I get to it. Put a grate on there. I put a padding on here because this is going to be really small once it dries. I don't want it to fall through. And then I start spreading the okra onto here. Once I get it on here, I will level it out just a little bit so I don't have deep clumps, so I get plenty of good circulation. Occasionally a stem will get on there. For the most part they don't. Here's the big pile of okra. I'm going to buy some more of these trays, and I'm going to buy some stainless steel mesh, about number 80, which is a little finer than this, and I'm going to make some trays just for all this small stuff. Occasionally you'll get a leaf in there, just throw it off to the side. Before you become too concerned about this being an unsanitary way to cook or do things, remember, when you go camping, you're out in the nature just like this, and people do that all the time, go camping I mean, and they prepare food, and they do it year after year after year, and the only thing that happens is they come away with great memories of nice things that they did together. So, although I'm outside and doing this, the truth of the matter is, this is no different than if I was camping somewhere. Now, I don't have this as level as I would like to. I'll put this into the dryer in this configuration right now. I'll dry it for about, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours, and then I'll spread it out some more. Alright, for cooking purposes, we have this measuring cup which gives us various amounts of ounces. So let's say that we want to go with a 6-ounce serving of okra in whatever we're making. So what we do is we cut the okra up like I'm doing right here. You see the cut okra, and then I'll put it in until it fills it up. Now, because this is a specific amount of okra that we want to add as a dried product, and we're going by a volume measure as opposed to a weight, what we're going to do is we're going to set this separate in its own drying container, and once it is fully dried, then we'll come back and we'll see what the amount here is. Or the other option, of course, is to get a scale, an actual measuring scale, and see what the volume of 6 ounces is in dried weight. That way we know how much dried material to use if we're making a soup for one, which is what I would be doing. Alright, we have all the okra cut. So now what we need to do is find out how much it takes to come up here to the 6 ounce, which is 3/4 of a cup. Now remember, this is green okra, and we're going to dehydrate it, which means that it will shrink considerably. I don't know what the actual shrinkage is. I guess I could get out a ruler and find out for you. Getting very close. Alright, it's a little bit above the line, but when you compensate for the fact that there's air in here and all kinds of other stuff, we're going to call that 6 ounces of okra right there. So now this will go in its own dehydrating tray. The other right here will go on the regular tray, and we'll put it in the dehydrator, and then I'll show you the results of this once it's been dehydrated. Alright, here we have the okra that needs to be just dehydrated in bulk. We'll spread that out a little bit. And now we have the 6 ounces. Which we will spread out. Here I have the stuff in the dryer. Top row was the last one I cut. This is the first one that I told you that I was going to let it dry for a while and then I'd spread it out a little bit. Down below in this tray is the 6 ounces of okra to see what it translates into, both in volume and later in weight. This is the okra that I dried before. I'm just cycling it. I'm cycling it to get any excess moisture out before I bag this stuff in the morning. This thing is set for basically 12 hours. Which means it'll be ready about the time that I start crawling around in the morning. I forgot to film after I had shrunk down my 6 ounces of okra, but it didn't even come up to the 1/4 inch line once it was all inside. So we had a pretty massive compression in size down.